Hi guys, welcome to Winsome Cottage Garden. My name is Hannah and I'm so glad that you're here. Today's a little bit of a different video. We are inside instead of outside because it's time to finally put up my first indoor Christmas decoration. You might be able to see that I already put my lights outside. That's actually a project my brother helped me with this weekend when he was here. Sean, you've probably seen him in other videos. But now I can finally move inside. I will admit that I am slacking. I normally start decorating for Christmas on November 1st so that I can, get a full 2 months enjoyment of my decorations. Here it is November 13th and I've not put up anything inside. Which I can't even begin to describe why. But today we're going to rectify that and put up my main Christmas tree. Yes, I said main Christmas tree because even though my house is fairly small, I have 3 of them. I'm not sure if I'll bring you along for each of them, but I'll definitely do a Christmas decor tour at some point in time. And I thought that I would for sure bring you along for the main tree and another one and give you some of the tips that I use when trying to make a full spectacular tree. So what I thought I would do is get you guys set up. I have to assemble the tree because I have a fake tree. I grew up with a brother who's really allergic to Christmas trees. He has since grown out of it. Not Sean, another brother. But I got used to having fake trees. So that's just what's in my house. Ironically, now my parents have a real tree, which I'm sure you'll see when we decorate that next week. But for now, I've got a fake one. So I'm going to quick pop it up. I'll give you the details on the tree and then we'll get the lights on before we dive into ornaments. You will see probably a random Halloween decoration here and there because I'm still kind of in flux and taking things down and bringing other things up. Okay, so here is actually where my main Christmas tree goes. I've already done the rearrangement of plants. These don't normally go here. Some of them usually go here, but I can't be the only one who has to rearrange things when it's time for Christmas. But what I'm going to do is get the tree out. I have to go find my tree collar. I have to assemble the tree in with the collar in place. So let me go find the collar, get you guys set up, and then we'll get this tree put up. This might be very basic, but some people might find this interesting if you don't have fake trees or you are curious about Balsam Hill trees. So Balsam Hill trees are expensive. I'll say that off the get-go. I invested in 2 trees that from Balsam Hill because my parents had a Balsam Hill tree that lasted like 25 years, and I figured that's probably worth it. This tree that I'm putting up right now is probably 8-ish. I think it's about 8-ish years old, let's say give or take a year. So it's held up remarkably well. They have real needle technology, which I think makes it look very real, especially once you get the stuff on it. And they also provide, just as people are curious, these little gloves, which are really helpful because the fake needles are scratchy. And so I find if I don't put them on, my hands get really irritated. So, but let me kind of show you what I'm doing. And it might be really basic, but some people might be curious. You can see this. I've actually gone and fluffed all these branches except this one. What I try to do, you saw that this tree comes in 3 sections and everything is really smooshed up. What I like to do is spread branches that might need being spread again. And then this one is a little flatter. What I like to do is go to the back and really kind of spread them out, putting a couple down, but more focused on getting them up. You can see here that these have got a lot of nice things. So when I come and put the next layer on, they're pointing upwards. That's how trees grow. They grow towards the sun, which makes it, in my opinion, a lot more natural looking. So that's how I like to fluff my trees. It generally doesn't take long. I think it's been 20 minutes and I've got one last section to go, which should be easy, though I do have to find my step up in my mess of boxes. a fussy Mia who wants to be held right now. She's such a drama queen. But I have all my colored lights on the tree, and I realized there were a couple things that I didn't really explain very well that I thought I'd do that right now. Obviously, I have an unlit tree, which isn't as common these days. I like to control my lights a little bit more. Sometimes I change the lights I have on the tree. Right now I've got colored lights on. I've occasionally done white lights on this, but to be honest, I'm more of a colorful person. I like the colored light look, especially because this tree in particular is a little bit of a hodgepodge of ornaments. It doesn't have a theme per se, it's just my ornaments. So I like to add the lights in. It also gives me the flexibility to kind of figure out how many lights I want to add in a certain area. If you are stringing your own lights on, some things that I recommend doing is making sure you don't forget to push the lights back into the tree. A lot of times people will just do it on like the outer bits because that's what you see. And if you're short on lights, that's good to go. I always err on adding more lights because I'm a more is more kind of girl, especially when it comes to lights, as you'll be able to see in a little bit because we're not quite done yet. But yeah, so I make sure to do it inside the tree as well as out and kind of layer it around. So it's not just like even in a strand around. It's kind of up and down and it works together. You also probably noticed there were a couple times I turn the lights off. I turn the lights off and I look at it, and the way I tend to do my lights with the back and forth provides a little flexibility. So I can kind of tweak things here and there if there's a darker spot. I also tend to have, you might have noticed at the end, I still had about a third to half a strand left. And so then I stood back and did the last bit in the dark, looking in those dark spots and then kind of winding it down. As soon as I put down the Mia, in a second I'll show you, I try to end my strand. I leave a little hole in the back of the tree at the bottom where you won't see it if I don't have enough lights to get back down there. But I do try to end it so that the little plug is down there. So when it comes to taking the lights off, it's a little bit easier. So I really like controlling how many lights there are. I like being able to change my mind. And yeah, I think that for me, unlit trees are a little more, they have a little more longevity too, because lights go out. And if you've got a tree that's got the lights in it, finding the problem's a pain. I usually will spend like a few minutes trying to find it, and then I decide this strand of light's not worth it. If it's your whole tree, then it can be infuriating. I am a fan of the string your own lights type of thing. But the only downside is I'm now the stringer. So now like I string all my parents' lights and all this other stuff, and it looks so good. I have to find in my boxes behind me my next thing. I love these lights. Turn it up just a tiny bit, because to me, part of Christmas is the lights and the glinting off of ornaments and whatnot. So I actually have a strand of fairy lights that I put in that kind of twinkle, which I think really brings the whole tree to life. So I have to find them though. I'm not quite sure where they are at this moment in time, but I do think they're in a box behind me. Mia would like me to go to bed. That's why she's being particularly fussy and keeps wanting me to pick her up. Oh, yes. Okay, two fantastic things are in here. My star, which I didn't know if it was in this one or a different one that's still downstairs. And my lights. And the twist ties. Oh, this is great. So my star that goes on the tree, I'll probably do next. I searched high and low for this star because I don't like, I'm not a boring tree topper kind of girl. The tree topper I grew up with was an angel that had red hair, which you can't really tell right now, but when I was younger, I was a carrot top. It's darkened a lot as time has gone on, but so I've always loved that angel. But finding angels these days is hard. So I knew I went through a couple toppers that I didn't really like. And then I finally said, you know what, this is something I'm going to invest in. And I really wanted a star. I found this. This is also from Balsam Hill, which I probably wouldn't look at, but look. It's a Star of David, or not Star of David, it's a Bethlehem star. Super glittery, but it's one of those that you actually have a pole. You should wire it in, which I do. But I was thinking, I forgot to grab my twist ties. I have some twisty tie stuff out in the shed, and I was like, oh, it's pitch black. I'm gonna have to go get like a flashlight and go find it if I want to put the star on. Thank you, past self, packing these away in just such an organized manner. Pat on the back. I don't know if it's kind of showing up. It's not, it's very subtle. And they're just small white dot lights, so you can kind of see it. It's more when you get close that you see them, because it adds just like a little twinkle in there. So it is a plug-in fairy light, because I like to hook it up to the same thing as my timer. You saw me go around because I got to get spacing, and then I kind of tuck it. You can see the wires a little bit right now. But as we layer items on, they're going to disappear. But there it is, just plugged into my timer. It actually fits perfectly because it's on the back of my Christmas lights. I actually contemplated adding another type of light bulb because I think the layering of different light types is just like the epitome of magical. But I actually had to replace a lot of lights outside this year because just sets growing older, not working. So that might be a different year that we do that, just because my Christmas budget is a little bit spent right now. So I'm going to take a break for the night, and we'll pick this back up tomorrow when we will add a tiny bit of wood bead garland and get our ornaments on. Okay, so we made some progress tonight. This was a little fiddlier than I thought, so I'm gonna have to save the rest for another day, but I thought I'd check in and kind of show you what I did. Mia is very much waiting for me to go snuggle because she thinks it's bedtime. But the main thing I did was get this wood bead garland on. It looks a little haphazard, but I actually start out with 20 beads at the base level, and 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14 at the top. so that you get a little bit of the swoop. It's not quite as I'd like it to be more like this, but I'm done fussing with it. And once I load this thing up, you're not going to notice it at all. So it just helps provide a little bit of continuity. I don't do ribbons, and this is basically the main garland I do. So I did also place a couple of glittery snowflakes that I like to kind of stick back to provide some depth, as well as these white glittery ornaments. And the next thing that we will do is actually this box. This is my box of really breakable ornaments that I love. I put those on first so they get pride of place. And then I do that one. I also will add, I am a huge proponent for adding real glass things to your Christmas tree. So I actually have a couple boxes of these Kurt Adler icicles. These are 3.5 and 5.5 inches long. And I have them on every single tree I do because they go on last. I spread them around. You don't actually see them until the lights are on, and they kind of glint and provide that magic. So I'll get my ornaments on, get my icicles on, and then I'll kind of show you the tree a little bit closer. is finally done, and I'm so excited to share it with you. This is a little different this year. You might have seen me like pull out some ornaments here and there and then set them to the side. I have 2 other trees in my house. And I've decided I want to take a couple off of this one. I want to start shifting them to those other trees to help those trees fill out, add some sparkle to them as well. But I thought I'd give you a close-up and then I'll show you what it looks like with the lights off. So this tree doesn't really have any kind of theme or anything specifically. It's just items that I really like. So I have things from this like cute little popcorn dude to like penguins, some Disney characters, some things that were my mom's tree growing up. I have a whole host of Swarovski crystal snowflakes. My parents get me one every year for Christmas because they know how much I like things that shine. You can see intermingled I have my icicles that kind of help swirl the light around on various things. So if you kind of stand back, you can see there's a subtle twinkle like here and there with those lights that we put on that just kind of bring it to life a little bit more. So I think some of my favorites include things like this Santa moon. He's a little nostalgic for me because my mom has an ornament that is a Santa moon, not quite like this, but I saw him at the store and had to get him. I'm a big fan of Radco ornaments, and I kind of like check every time I'm at TJ Maxx or Home Goods. They sometimes carry them. There's like a church, and they have a lot of blown glass ornaments that I think are just beautiful. So a lot of these I've honestly just picked up through the years. By trolling sites or gifts to me, or I picked them up on trips. Like, for instance, I have a cute little series of woodland creatures that are wooden that I picked up when I went to England one year visiting my dad's family. Same with some of these like little soldiers that I have. This cloisonne bell is from 3 of my siblings are adopted from China. This is from one of the trips to China. So, and then I just have some random things like this little reindeer who I think is pretty cute. So, and things of whimsy like the Frog Prince. Over somewhere I have, well, there's Humpty Dumpty down here. Humpty Dumpty I think he's over here. Yeah, I have the cow jumping over the moon. I just have some really fun things that kind of throw along like, and of course I have paw prints from puppies and pictures of puppies. So, yeah, let me go turn off the light so you can see it in its full glory. Okay, it's actually super dark out right now, and I was going to show you what it looks like outside right now because it's basically been snowing nonstop. Well, it snowed the last long time. You can kind of see that everything is covered. We're supposed to get another 6-ish inches over the next few days. I've already shoveled this driveway twice. I cleared that guy off in the nick of time. It's very peaceful right now. This tree, like now I'm seeing it. I think there's like a little dark section right there, but too late now. I don't see this from a ton of times. I see this view the most, and I just really love the little twinkle. I have a lot more Christmas decorating to do. I'll bring you guys along for what I can and just kind of share it with you. And if I don't get around to it this year, I guess I'll have to share it next year. As we kind of have shifted inside, because you can see from outside, I will admit that it's a little early for the amount of snow we have. I think in the last couple days, we've picked up probably about 6 inches. And it's only November like 17th. So that's early, to be honest. But it's pretty right now. I'm driving up to the cottage tomorrow, so hopefully it's cleaned and still beautiful on my drive, but not a burden to travel through. So it's just part of winter in the Midwest, I guess. I am so glad that you decided to join me today. I know it's a little bit of a departure from our other videos. There's going to be a few more like this, but there's still going to be videos coming up, more gardening focused that I'll definitely bring you along for. If you like this video, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye-bye. We had quite the snowfall. I thought I'd show you what it looked like in the day. So, I judge we probably got close to a foot looking at that table over the last 3-4 days, and it's not stopping.
You can't really see it in the camera, but it's still snowing, and it's supposed to keep snowing, and those are snow clouds. So very winter wonderland, just in time for Thanksgiving.